Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Mama Elephant with another scene card featuring lots of new stamps and dies from the January 2019 release. This one focuses on in and out greetings, meaning sentiments that are both on the inside and outside of the card with the Friendship Sentiments stamp set, which I have mentioned in my previous videos for this month's release that I really think is a fantastic stamp set. So we are going to start by building our background for this card. Because this is a card focusing on a sentiment stamp rather than the images, I decided to build a background to go with them. And while they definitely influenced what I am going to use to create my scene, these sentiments will work with any kind of scene or images you want to use, including florals, all kinds of cute critters, whatever kind of card you love to create. I am using a My Favorite Things cloud stencil and Salty Ocean Distress ink on regular Nina Smooth White cardstock to build my cloud background. This background is A2 sized right now. It's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Very traditional cloudy background. I'm a huge fan of clouds. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just trimming off about 1/8 of an inch from each side, simply because the ink tends to gather along the sides, and so I didn't want to trim all of it off of one side and leave the ink pooled, so that's why I trimmed off all 4 sides. Normally I would just go ahead and trim 2 sides to make that size. Then we're going to take our sentiment from Friendship Sentiments. This is a best friend is someone who makes you laugh even when you think you'll never smile again. Beautiful sentiment. I originally thought I would stamp that with Salty Ocean Distress ink and decided I didn't want to stamp it a zillion times to get it dark enough. So I grabbed a dye ink from my collection. This is the Island Blue ink from Simon Says Stamp, and stamped that along the bottom edge. I don't know what it is lately, but I have really been drawn to colorful inks for my sentiments. I think they tie into scenes really nicely rather than detract or take away from the rest of what's going on. I've also taken the brand new Offset Rainbow Creative Cuts dies and die cut the rainbow shape from my background. We are going to be creating an inlay with this by die cutting these panels from another piece of smooth white cardstock and inking them with distress inks. You could also die cut these from colorful cardstock and inlay them or pop them up if you want more dimension. This is a little bit of a what I call a paper saver because this is a single die and each ray isn't an individual die. I like to die cut for the most part, not always, but for the most part, from one shade of cardstock and color it in. You could color in with markers, you could color in with paint, watercolors, all kinds of different things to add color to your rays depending on which paper you use. I am using picked raspberry, candied apple, spiced marmalade, squeezed lemonade, mowed lawn, salty ocean, and wilted violet for a very traditional rainbow. I almost considered going back and redoing it to do a different color of rainbow, but I'm glad I didn't. I didn't want to waste these pieces, so you might see something from me later, just kind of more of a non-traditional type of rainbow with this Offset Rainbow Creative Cuts die. I did take adhesive and place it on the front of a white top fold card base in the center. I didn't go all the way to the edge since this panel is slightly smaller. And I'm going to lay my cloud background into that, and then I can inlay my rainbow rays because there's adhesive on the back or, on the card base itself, which makes inlaying all these little rainbow rays super duper easy. So let's continue to build the rest of our rainbow rays with our ink. I did a bit of an ombre effect where it's darker down on the right side of the rainbow and lighter up at the left. You could also not ink the individual rays. You could actually ink your panel back behind where the die cut is in different ways to add color back behind these instead if you wanted to. Again, there's lots and lots of ways to use this rainbow. I am a huge rainbow die fan, so this was a great addition to the Mama Elephant collection, I think. Very, very fun to use. I also, while I was die cutting my rainbow rays, I did die cut, in this set is a cloud, and I die cut the cloud once from smooth white cardstock, and I also die cut it again from vellum. We're going to have two clouds. This gives a little bit more dimension. What I'm wanting is to make one of the elephants from Flying with Friends appear to be sitting in the clouds, and then have a little mouse standing on the cloud, and then of course the other little mouse is flying up with its balloon. These images are absolutely darling. I love these little elephants, kind of the Mama Elephant namesake there. I like all of the elephant sets. I think they're just precious and really fun. While I didn't today, very easy to combine with the previously released elephant stamp set from last, I believe, last January. Other critters from the Mama Elephant line. I just really love that they keep adding to their adorable collection. So definitely shop your selection of Mama Elephant stamps and see what you can mix and match these cute new critters with. Everything on my card today is new. I didn't use anything that I previously had, but you will definitely be seeing things like that from me soon, because one of my very favorite things to do is to mix and match. If you followed me at all, you guys probably know that. I love utilizing brand new with previously released. I think that that's a great way to stretch your supplies, stretch your stamps, and really make the most of what we already have while still getting to play with new things. So here's my final ray. I did keep cleaning off my work surface as I was inking. That's so I didn't cross-contaminate ink into the rainbow rays. That was so that when I slide my card over to inlay my rainbow, I don't get ink all over the back of my card. I love using microfiber cloths. I just have a bunch of them. I mean, I use them for cleaning in my house, and then I have a whole stack that I clean and reuse for stamping. So when you see those, they are just a microfiber cloth from Amazon that I use for cleaning up my stamps. I found that they work really, really well and don't leave lint and things on my stamps when I clean them. I stamped then the elephant and two mice images from Flying with Friends on the rest of this piece of smooth white cardstock that I die cut my rays and cloud from. And I'm going to color them in with Copic markers. I have listed the colors I'm using on the screen. The elephant, I did tend to go light. I went with lighter colors for all of my critters. So warm gray 0, 0, 1, and 3 for my elephant. He's a very little light gray little elephant with R00 for the inside of his ears and his cheek. What I like to do, even though R00 is very light, it's still very pink compared to what else is going on. So a lot of times I take my warm gray, either 00 or 1, and will blend that out into the pink to soften it and to mute it just a little bit. I added some little dot detail to my little elephant to give him texture as well. Going light with my mice with E30, 31, and 55. Very light coloring. In fact, I don't even know that I used 31 all that much. I think it was mostly E55 and 30. Balloons, we're going to have kind of a peachy reddish colored one with our 30, 32, and 35. And then an orange one as well. I really wanted color for these. With YR01, 4, and 7. You can see I laid down my light color, added darkest color, blended again with my midtone, and then went back with my lightest color to blend it all out and give that nice little highlight area on the balloon. I went ahead and secured my vellum cloud, or I'm going to secure my vellum cloud directly to my card base, hiding my adhesive kind of where the white cardstock cloud is going to overlap and the elephant. The cloud is not secured on the side over on the left. If you have a Xyron sticker maker, I just was lazy and did not pull mine out. I'm pretty sure this would fit through the little sticker maker. But that's a great way if you want to make sure it lays flat and you don't see your adhesive with vellum. A Xyron sticker maker would be a great way to go. Like I said, I actually ended up hiding my adhesive, so I didn't worry too much about it for this card. We're going to pop up the cardstock card then with foam adhesive squares. I really love having dimension, so some of the elements are adhered directly to the card and some are popped up with foam adhesive. In this case, our vellum cloud, our elephant, and the little mouse that are sitting in the cloud there are all adhered directly to the card base. The white cardstock cloud and then the mouse flying with the orange balloon are going to be popped up with foam adhesive. My favorite are the scrapbook adhesives, foam adhesive squares. You guys probably have seen me use these tons. I use these, and I also use some foam adhesive strips. I still use the Scotch adhesive foam roll, just not as much. It's generally for shaker cards and things of that nature, or if I'm popping up a whole panel, I will use that. But I love these little squares. I think they work really well, and I like that while they're still foam adhesive, I don't think they stick up very high, so you get that dimension without a ton of bulk. We're building up our little scene. Totally cute as is, but I really felt like it was missing just a little something, and for me, that little something is always the finishing details that take a card from very cute to absolutely adorable. So the first thing is some Nuvo crystal drops in White Blizzard on the balloons to make them have a sparkly finish. I'm always a fan of a little bit of glitter somewhere. And then we're going to take a black glaze pen for the elephant's eye and the mouse's nose. And faces are super important. Faces really draw the viewer into the project, and so I always like to go back over things like eyes or noses and add that detail back in. I'm also going to take a white pen and add some little highlight detail here and there throughout the design. So little white dots for cheeks, some little highlights here and there. Not going to go crazy, but just adding a few of those in. Also, I'm going to need to take that white pen. The nose on the mouse, this stamp image actually has a black nose, but it has a little highlight, a little white area that doesn't stamp. I went over the nose with the black pen. I want to add that highlight back into the mouse's nose. And then I'm going to take some little heart accents. These are actually from Honeybee Stamps. These are the Kiss Me color, which I think works just fantastic with the colors in this card. And they finish off the card beautifully. I'm using Lawn Fawn glue tube and as my adhesive and the crystal katana to pick them up and put them in place. And I originally kind of put my groupings of hearts on the cloud and up above, and I decided I needed to fill in a couple more little areas. And I even put one up above the sentiment on the bottom of the card. Now, once we get all of our accents in place, and we could have even done this before. I had it already laid out and I just did it at the end. For whatever reason, I always kind of worked from the front to the inside. We're going to take another sentiment from Friendship Sentiments, and we are going to add that to the inside of the card to finish it off. So where we have all this beautiful design on the front of the card, something that I have really been challenging myself to do this year is finish off projects by either customizing envelopes or customizing the inside of the card with additional stamped greetings or images. In this case, we're going to take the phrase, "Thank you for making me smile again," and putting it on the inside of the card. So the front says, "A best friend is someone who makes you laugh even when you think you'll never smile again." The inside says, "Thank you for making me smile again." I think the sentiment is beautiful. I think the emotion behind it is beautiful, and it makes a really fun card that you can give to a friend. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this card featuring new stamps and dies from the January 2019 Mama Elephant release. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.